The horses take time out for a well-deserved dip. The yet still air is punctuated by the sound of hooves as the clock ticks away the closing seconds of a morning's run. Your horse feels good. The trainer smiles. You've worked hard for this day and you feel confident. The horses in the saddling enclosure pace nervously around as the crowd assess their latest investment. Your barrier position is favorable. You've got the inside rail. The bets are on. The crowd is hushed, sensing the tension in the air. This is it, the race. From the Morphettville Racecourse, Network 10 throughout Australia takes pride in presenting a new and exciting classic on the Australian racing calendar, the inaugural $130,000 Australasian Oaks Racing Carnival.
Good afternoon, I'm Graham Goodings. Welcome to the new Morphettville Racecourse here in Adelaide for the running of the $130,000 Australasian Oaks, the first running of this very special Oaks race, the richest race of its kind in Australia, and has attracted 11 of the finest fillies from Australia and New Zealand. A beautiful day in Adelaide for the running of the race, and a short time ago the Governor of South Australia, Sir Keith Seaman, arrived for the big event. A 100-man Royal Guard of Honour was mounted for his arrival. The men from the No. 1 Recruit Training Unit at Edinburgh under the command of Squadron Leader John Littlewood. And a short time ago the Governor moved to his seat in the members' stand, and the horses are now moving into line for our first event of the telecast. It's the Queen of Adelaide Stakes. And we say a very good afternoon to our commentator, Ray Warren.
Thanks very much, Graham Goodings, and good afternoon again, everyone, on the second day of this big carnival here in Adelaide. As Graham said, featuring the running of the Australasian Oaks for the first time, the richest race in South Australia and the richest fillies event, I do believe, on the Australian calendar at the moment. Runners, as you can see, are milling around behind the barrier prior to the running of our first of the legs of the double today, the Queen of Adelaide Stakes, $50,000 race. As we say, good afternoon, Dennis Markham. What's the favourite downstairs?
Good afternoon, Ray, and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, well, the favourite is number 6, Untitled. It's halved its opening quote, Ray, and has been very, very heavily backed. It's about 5-2 on the Adelaide Tote. Straight down the Adelaide Tote, Lemon Sorbet, the brilliant filly trained by Cliff Fowler, is at just under 5-1. Rose of Hawa 9, 6-1. Kadaitcha Girl, expected to run well by Colin Hayes. Lover is 9-2. Write your own ticket about Kayliet. It's outside 20-1. Into 2-1 now is Unrakelora, and the horse that they're whispering here at the track is Biscalawi at 4-1. That horse on camera is Lemon Sorbet. Much travelled filly. She's only been to South Australia once, and she met defeat on that occasion. She was a bit unlucky, Ray, that day, actually.
She ran second, did she not, to Lady Nelia?
No, to Rose of Hawa. And Jim Courtney, the rider of Rose of Hawa, was suspended after that race for causing interference on the home turn, and Lemon Sorbet was one of the main sufferers.
But Lemon Sorbet has since been to Tasmania, been back to Melbourne, probably one of the most travelled, if not the most travelled 2-year-old in Australia today. And Cliff Fowler considers her to be the best of his 2-year-olds, according to your advertiser column I read, I believe, this morning.
Yes, I spoke to Cliff last night, and he's quite confident Lemon Sorbet will run well. And he said that there's not much between 2 or 3 of his better class 2-year-olds, but he does expect Lemon Sorbet to run very well today.
It's only a field of 7, but with the exception of Kayliet, it's not hard to get a tip here at the track for any one of the 7. A Network 10 sports special coming to you out of Morphettville Racetrack here in Adelaide, with SAS 10, the originating station, and being fed around Australia. In the next hour, you'll see not only this race, the Queen of Adelaide Stakes, but also the Australasian Oaks. As Unrakelora goes up, and Kadaitcha Girl goes in, carrying blinkers for the first time. Colin Hayes was telling me that Kadaitcha Girl has improved lengths on the track. Last of them in, 1,050 metres. One of the the jockeys just telling the starter he's not quite ready. It's the boy on Caliet. They're set now. The light is on. Racing this time on the Queen of Adelaide, and Lemon Sorbet exploded out in the centre. Lover got out very fast, out deep, and going like the wind on the inside is Caliet to burn them all off. Getting along the fence to be fourth on settling is Unrakelora. They're followed by Kadaitcha Girl, trapped out very deep with Rose of Hawa over near the inside. And Biscalawi's last, but there's only 5 lengths from first to last as they make the swing for home. They're about 600 metres out. And the leader as they come around the corner is Caliet by a half. Lemon Sorbet is second. Unrakelora's going beautifully third. Lovers off the track fourth. Coming around them even deeper is Kadaitcha Girl. Biscalawi is last as they swing, and Rose of Hawa second last. Into the stretch, 350 to go. Caliet has been claimed and headed by Lemon Sorbet. Lemon Sorbet got a length in front of Caliet. Now Unrakelora is out in the centre of the track and coming after Lemon Sorbet. Lemon Sorbet in front of Unrakelora. Then Rose of Hawa followed by Lover. It's Lemon Sorbet in front. Unrakelora can't reach Lemon Sorbet. Lemon Sorbet very game, and Lemon Sorbet's got home to win the Queen of Adelaide by a neck. Second Unrakelora, third Biscalawi, then came Rose of Hawa, followed by Lover, then Caliet, and Kadaitcha Girl was last. Very game filly, Lemon Sorbet. Trained by Cliff Fowler, who just seems to turn 2-year-olds out as winners with monotonous regularity. The colourful Cliff Fowler stable has produced the winner of the Queen of Adelaide Stakes here at Morphettville this afternoon, Lemon Sorbet, and what a lucky last-minute ride for Mark Withers, who was called upon to replace the suspended lad W. Goodwin, and commiseration certainly must go to that lad. Here's the slow-motion replay of Lemon Sorbet pulling out all stops as the South Australian Unrakelora threw down the challenge. Lemon Sorbet kept fighting. A little bit green as the South Australian, and Lemon Sorbet has now won in 3 states of Australia. Bound, I would think, for the Blue Diamond and probably the Golden Slipper. 1, 6, 7, numbers official on the Queen of Adelaide Stakes. Lemon Sorbet, trained by C.B. Fowler first, ridden by M. Withers, by Boldest Melody out of Lemon Twist. And the interim Adelaide dividends for $1, $5.80 and $3.30. $5.80 and $3.30. That's an amazing dividend. That's for $1. I realise that's for $1, but that's an amazing dividend. I know it will be, particularly to people on the eastern seaboard, because I think they probably thought Lemon Sorbet would run a fairly pronounced favourite in this race today. $3.30 the place, the win and place only, the place dividends only operating on second and third. Number 6 got second, Unrakelora, to pay $1.70, and these dividends I'm giving you are on course for $1. $5.80 and $3.30 the winner, $1.70 for second, no third tote for number 7, Biscalawi, which was last in a compact field on the turn for home. The Quinella, $8.80. Well, Dennis McNamara, what more can you say about Lemon Sorbet than probably one of the gutsiest fillies we've seen in South Australia, I would think?
Yes, Ray, I'd say probably the constant travelling that she's done has probably made her very, very tough. And she had to pull out all stops in the last 200. But if we had a replay of the start, you would have noticed that Unrakelora missed the start by about 2 lengths, and I think that's probably certainly cost her the race.
Did I call you by the wrong name? Dennis Markham.
Quite all right.
Sorry, Dennis, I've met that many commentators and pressmen who've all tried to be so helpful. It's become more of a hazard than remembering colours. But there's Lemon Sorbet coming back to scale. She'll be led into the winner's enclosure. And one of South Australia's leading race commentators is down there, John O'Neill. We'll be taking you to him shortly. And hopefully he'll be able to talk, I would think, with Cliff Fowler, the trainer. Yes, in fact, Cliff has consented to talk with John as the filly Lemon Sorbet comes back to scale. He'll probably simply want to talk very briefly to Mark Withers. I agree with you, Dennis, that Unrakelora may have missed the start, but I don't think that young Shepherd spent too many pennies getting up on the fence, and he had then the beautiful trail behind the leaders.
Yes, well, the only thing is, Ray, that I think Shepherd would have expected the lead on Raquel Aura, and it may have been, you know, a different kettle of fish, being able to sort of dictate his own pace in front. But that's quite unusual for her, because at her only other two starts, she has begun very quickly and, you know, has just shown so much speed that I think everyone would have expected her to lead today, not come out last behind them.
Let's go now to the saddling paddock and take you down to John O'Neill.
Thank you, Ray. Well, a very popular visit to Adelaide is Cliff Fowler, and once again a successful trip. Cliff?
Well, thank you very much. It certainly was a big thrill, and we're very pleased to be here, quite naturally.
Well, it's the inaugural Queen of Adelaide Stakes, and this will go down in history. Tell us a little bit about the breeding of Lemon Sorbet.
Well, she's bred by the COPPERAMA family, of course, who run the Arundel stud in Victoria, and for quite some last few years now we've had a lot of success with this particular line of breeding, and this particular filly has acquitted herself rather well. She had a first start in Adelaide, but unfortunately got beaten that day.
Well, I saw her win the other day at Elwick. She weren't bolted in there by some, what, 7 or 8 lengths?
Yeah, she won very convincingly there, but it was nowhere near the class of this field, of course.
No, but I bet it must have given you the idea of coming to Adelaide with a win like that.
Oh, my word, it certainly helped.
What are the future plans, Cliff?
Well, we'll just play it as it presents itself, but quite obviously this will qualify her for the Diamond now, so that'll be within the sights anyway.
She must be one of your top rating fillies in the stable?
Oh, I would think so, yes.
How many in training at the present time?
Oh, we've got a lot of horses there and a lot of yearlings we're already breaking in for next season, so in numbers, I suppose, we're probably working in the vicinity of 40 or 50.
Must have a good wife at home looking after that.
Oh, my word.
Cliff, Maiden Century coming up now on the Oaks.
That's right, so we're going out there. It looks like the top weight should win it, but we'll be there with a chance anyway.
All right, and all the best of luck, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Good.
And so John O'Neill talking with Cliff Fowler. I must admit I was chuckling at the Stetson, but the camera that we shot it with is the one just above the saddling paddock. It looked like a hat talking at one stage, but it was Cliff Fowler under the hat.
He's unmistakable.
We'll take a break and come back and talk about the big race, in fact, the race they call the race, from Morphettville in South Australia on Network 10 in just a moment.
And welcome back to the Australasian Oaks Carnival at Morphettville. A perfect day for racing, temperature around 30 degrees, unlike Saturday when we experienced heatwave conditions of 42 degrees. People stayed home in their droves. Well, today they're out in force, and it's a fine-looking sight here too at Morphettville. 14,000 people or so, and all enjoying themselves. Well, Ray Warren, how does it look from your angle?
Well, as I said to you on Saturday, Graham, it's a beautiful sight, but I can assure you that it's a much cooler sight we're looking down upon from up here at a wonderful vantage point at the top of the new grandstand at Morphettville. The big race today, the Australasian Stakes, the Oaks, will be run over 2,000 metres. And for those of you not familiar with Morphettville and you're planning on using your TAB telephone betting account or whatever means of having a bet, let me just show you the track and show you the importance of barrier positions, as they always are important, I believe. I don't care whether the journey is 2 miles. But here at Morphettville, the 2,000-metre start presents horses drawn out wide with quite a problem. It's only a very short run, as you can see, to the time they reach the first turn. It probably wouldn't be a run of any more than 100 metres. Then they go along that back straight up to the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's at the 1200 start, and then they come down the side, a long swinging bend into about a 350-metre straight. So barrier position should play an important part, I would think, in your reckoning. Of course, champions can overcome problems. Rose of Kingston has drawn nicely in 6. COPPERAMA has drawn beautifully in 2. Chiraco's out in 8. So really, I suppose, when you look at the fancied runners, they've all fared very well at the barrier. And Maiden Century, as Cliff Fowler said, he was happy when she, in fact, drew on the outside of the field. But I don't know whether he was really taking into account the 2,000-metre start at Morphettville. Dennis, do you?
Well, in my opinion, this is possibly one of the hottest barriers here in Adelaide. You can be drawn outside of barrier 5, and if it pans out that way, you can be wide right around that first turn. And I know that Cliff was delighted when he did draw 11, but I think more so that the fact that the horses race on the outside will suit him.
Well, now, runners who competed in Saturday's feature race, the Queen of the South Stakes, were, of course, Rose of Kingston, COPPERAMA, Noble Heights, disappointing on Saturday, Neptune Princess, Volley Dream, and Frivolous Lass. This will give you a chance as we rerun for you the Queen of the South Stakes, just to assess again the chances of those runners from Saturday as compared with the likes of COPPERAMA and Shirako, newcomers to the field today. Here's the Queen of the South.
They're occupying forward positions in company with Avern and Noble Heights, getting back with Artesian, Hello Shady. Then came Volley Dream, and further back is Ronley Best, third last, Common Pattern second last, with Peter Gay the trailer. Racing up by the 1250 point now, reaching the top of the track, and they'll come down the side in a moment. Frivolous Lass is the leader by a half length on Tumbling, sitting on the outside. Hello Shady is whipping around them. Ronley Best is going very fast, 4 deep up towards the lead. Yurtiz is parked in behind the pace, and they're followed by Avern. 3 lengths back came Artesian, covering up Rose of Kingston, Neptune Princess between that pair. They're followed after 2 lengths by Volley Dream and Pettigay. Noble Heights has gone back, and Common Pattern was now second last. At the 800, coming down the side to approach the home circle, and Frivolous Lass by a half on Tumbling. 2 away came Yurtiz, given the run of the race, followed by Hello Shady. Then Ronley Best on the outside of Avern, a break of 2.5 to Rose of Kingston, being ridden very patiently on the inside of Neptune Princess. Artesian's never been on the track. There goes Common Pattern around them from Pettigay. Volley Dreamer's back second last, and the New Zealand filly Noble Heights is last. Inside the 400 and down the home stretch they come. It's Frivolous Lass being tackled in the centre by Yurtiz, tumbling out wide. Rose of Kingston's coming down the centre with a powerful run, so too is Avern. The leader, Frivolous Lass, is being swamped by Rose of Kingston on the outside. Rose of Kingston went up on the outside, shot to the lead, and the Queen of the South Stakes is all parcelled up for the Rose of Kingston. She's too good. Rose of Kingston scored a length. Peter Gay ran second, third close.
Okay, there it was, Rose of Kingston winning on Saturday. Let's quickly have a look at the betting. Here, tote compared with elsewhere. Rose of Kingston is showing $1.35 here for 50 cents. She's a half a point less than that in other quarters. COPPERAMA on the tote here in South Australia, big odds. She's around 5 to 1, and she's about half that quote downstairs. Shirako, tote odds, 7 to 2, about the same. Noble Heights, about the same, 8s in both sections. Neptune Princess, big odds of 50 to 1. 50 to 1, Neptune Princess, and down quite considerably on that in the ring, but still at very big prices. Volley Dream is at 9 to 1 on the tote, about the same in the ring. Lady Nurmai, 10 to 1 on tote, about 3 points longer in the ring. Better Noble is around about a 40 to 1 quote generally. Maiden Century at 48 to 1 on the tote, but is, goodness gracious, about a quarter of that in the ring. Frivolous Lass, 25 tote, 10 points shorter in the ring. In all respects, 50 to 1 tote and about 15 points less in the ring. A break and then back for more from the Australasian Oaks Carnival from Morphettville in South Australia.
Anzacs are about to serve overseas again in their first major campaign since Vietnam. They'll try to make peace in the world's danger zone, the Middle East. All this week in a world exclusive from Eyewitness News, we'll take you there through the eyes of leading defense correspondent Peter Young. What will be demanded of the peacekeeping troops? What are the risks? Might our boys be involved in a full-scale Middle East war? A vital issue for every Australian. What price peace? Eyewitness News, 6 o'clock on Channel 10.
The street.
Coverage of the inaugural running of the Australasian Oaks. The Oaks carries prize money of $130,000 and indeed is the richest thoroughbred race held anywhere in South Australia, and in fact is the richest fillies classic held in Australia these days. Well, we've got commentators doing interviews around the track, and first up, here's John O'Neill talking with Sydney horseman Malcolm Johnston.
Malcolm Johnston riding COPPERAMA in the Australasian Oaks. Malcolm, are you happy the way she's settled into Adelaide?
Yeah, very happy, John. I've been here since last Friday and I've rode her every morning since. And she settled in really nice. She looks a picture and she's really forward enough to run a very, very bold race today.
She's won, what, 6 races? What's the longest winning distance?
The furthest she's won is 1.25 miles, which is, she failed at 1.5 miles in the Oaks in Melbourne, but she's not a 1.5 mile horse. 1.25 miles is more up her alley and, well, I think she's fit enough and well enough to really prove the one to beat.
Must be quite happy with the barrier draw, number 2.
Yeah, I was praying for a good marble, John. It's a bit of a tricky start here at the 1.25 miles, and from a good marble, well, I'm certainly going to be in the box seat, and all I'm praying for is I hope she does settle, because she is jumping from a 7 or 1.25 miles, and she just has had a tendency to pull a bit in the past, but today, if she settles, boy, you know, she's going to run a great race.
Well, the last win in Melbourne must have been quite good. You naturally didn't ride her there, but you saw the race, obviously.
Yeah, I did. I took particular notice of it because I knew I was coming over here, and it was a good win, and it was certainly a good lead-up race for this race today.
400 left to go. Todd Wilkes still the leader from Al Prestige, the outsider. COPPERAMA sprinting up quickly, went past Al Prestige to grab the lead at the 300, and COPPERAMA in front of Al Prestige, finishing fairly. Chesterfield, Spectrum running on 2, followed by Downer Road and Manacos. 200 to go. COPPERAMA got away by 2 lengths. On the outside, finishing well, Chesterfield, but it's COPPERAMA 2.5 in front with 100 metres left to go. Holding on, finishing well, Spectrum in the centre, but COPPERAMA wins by a length and a half. Spectrum, I'd say Chesterfield may get third from Al.
There it was, Clem Dimsey's call of COPPERAMA winning at Flemington about a fortnight back. Well, John Letts is on Shirako for Bart Cummings, and he certainly gave me the impression at the track yesterday that he wouldn't give that mount up for any other horse.
Great chance in the race. I'm very happy with her, and I suppose everybody would like to be, every jockey would like to be riding Rosa Kingston, but I'd stick to my mare because I know she's a very capable mare. She's a good, honest mare, and she can carry weight, she can get the distance, and she's at home. So that's a big, you know, big advantage here.
Do you think that Rosa Kingston is unbeatable?
No, I don't think myself that Rosa Kingston's unbeatable, because last year in the VRC Oaks, I know Rosa Kingston won the race pretty easily, but Turner for home, Shirako and Rosa Kingston were together, and she didn't drop Shirako off till about the 300 metres. And Shirako just couldn't get the ground. But if she could have got the ground last year, she'd have been alongside her at the finish, I'm sure.
At the 300-metre mark, Rosa Kingston on the outside now, put her head in front, fighting back with Shirako. COPPERAMA's 3 wide, 4 wide was Queen's Road. 150 metres left to go, and Rosa Kingston kicked away by 2 lengths. Queen's Road and COPPERAMA trying hard, but they won't pick up Rosa Kingston. And Rosa Kingston comes down to win the Oaks by 2 lengths, Queen's Road. 3 parts away in 3rd place, COPPERAMA, followed by Shirako.
And so as the festivities continue leading up to the Australasian Oaks running in just a few minutes from now, Dennis Markham from the Advertiser earlier today was able to talk to Joe Hall, Adelaide's number 2 trainer at the moment, as far as winners are concerned, and he's got Lady Nurmi engaged in the big race.
Joe, Lady Nurmi was one of the few runners on Saturday that didn't run in the Queen of the South Stakes. Are you happy that you didn't start her in those hot conditions?
Yes, I am quite happy, Dennis, because you know, they must have told on a few of them, I'd say. Rosa Kingston's a champion, I think, and probably hasn't worried her much, but I'm glad I didn't run in it because mine's only a little filly, and I think it probably would have knocked around a bit.
I know that you wish the race was further than 2,000 metres. Are you happy with the way she's done leading up to this race?
Yes, I wish it was 1.5 miles, but she has freshened up well since the Port Adelaide Cup, and she's had 1 run since, and I think she'll, you know, be fresh enough to be in a prominent position in the 2,000-metre race.
Where do you expect to be in the run?
Well, that all depends on the pace.
Would you prefer a fast pace?
Yeah, a true run race, I would like, yeah.
All right, we'll see what we can do for you. You must take a bit of confidence in her chances today with her great win in the Port Adelaide Cup.
Yes, well, she proved that she can really stay in that race. She beat the older horses, and she just had the drop on them all the way and just went to the front of, you know, down the straight, and was too good for them.
But it's a packing field on the home turn in the Cup with 450 metres left to go, where Rock Show up on the outside of Open Menu as they came down close to the home turn. It's Open Menu on the inside, Rock Show on the outer, clear to Lady Nurmi, given full bore. Whole Flex at the head of the others, being followed by Red Dog from a long way back, and out very deep on the track with Sunny Sostine. 200 left to go, and Lady Nurmi has strode to the lead here. It's Lady Nurmi in front from Rock Show. Lady Nurmi's got the upper hand with 50 to 60 metres left to go. Lady Nurmi coming down the post to win the Yalumba Port Adelaide Cup. It's Lady Nurmi first, Rock Show second, Time Centre third.
And so there you have the thoughts of just some of the people vitally involved with the running of the race, the Australasian Oaks,
which goes by the board in a matter of minutes from now. I hope it's done something towards making up your mind as to what your final choice is going to be. I trust you enjoy the rest of the telecast. In a moment, we're back to South Australia's Morphettville. So now let's have a look at the runners as they prepare to go onto the track for the running of the $130,000 Australasian Oaks. Number 1, Rose of Kingston, with Gary Willets in the saddle, winner of the VRC Oaks in November, and she's firmed in the ring. She's in the red in places now and is showing much better on the Adelaide tote at $1.35 for 50 cents.
Number 2 is COPPERAMA, Malcolm Johnston, the rider. Just trailing Rose of Kingston in the number of times that they have met. 5 times they have met, 3 times in favour of Rose of Kingston, and I think Tommy Smith's confident that COPPERAMA can square the accounts today.
Well, there's the other one of the big 3, Shirako. You would have seen Shirako running 4th in the VRC Oaks, 2 Rose of Kingston, with COPPERAMA finishing 3rd in that race. Shirako has firmed just half a point in the ring, is showing around 7-2 on the tote, and John Letts is the rider.
Number 4 is the top New Zealand filly, Noble Heights, and she's also shortened in betting on course. And Ray, I think this is the one that will improve today, Noble Heights. She didn't have a lot of luck on Saturday in the Queen of the South Stakes, but her New Zealand form suggests she is a lot better than that.
Neptune Princess, one of the roughies for the race, with D. Coleman, the rider. Neptune Princess ran 10th, in fact, on Saturday, and following that effort would be a major shock if she takes out the big race today, and she's showing at very big odds.
Number 6 is the first of the Colin Hayes fillies, Volley Dream. Showed that she wasn't far short of Rose of Kingston and COPPERAMA during the spring, and like Noble Heights, she didn't have a lot of luck in the Queen of the South Stakes on Saturday, and I think Colin is expecting her to improve today.
Number 7 is Lady Nurmi. Well, you saw her impressive win in the Yalumba Port Adelaide Cup on December 26th. She's just been freshened up fractionally for this race, and as you heard, Joe Hall gives her an excellent chance if the others happen to put a foot wrong.
She does look very well too, Ray. Number 8 is Better Noble, racing in the same colours carried by Lady Nelia on Saturday in the Blood Horse Breeders' Stakes, being ridden by the leading jockey here in South Australia at the moment in Tassie Pegas, and Better Noble was 3rd in the South Australian Oaks.
And so we go down to those familiar colours of Cliff Fowler's with Maiden Century. Mark Withers again replacing W. Goodwin, and Maiden Century, as I pointed out earlier, she's on the tote at very big odds, but she's only a quarter of those odds in the ring.
Number 10 is Frivolous Lass, Jim Courtney, the top rider here, and the second of the Colin Hayes runners. And Frivolous Lass led them in the Queen of the South Stakes on Saturday.
And of course there has to be the one at the bottom, as far as the saddlecloths are concerned, in all respects, is trained by former good rider Bob Jury, and in all respects will run at quite big odds in this afternoon's Australasian Oaks. So they're going to the barrier for the running of the big race. We'll be back in just a moment. Incidentally, in the Queen of Adelaide Stakes, the previous race, the winner scored by a neck with 3 lengths between 2nd and 3rd. The time was 1:21 and correct weight was duly found. Well, Rose of Kingston, she's the queen of the turf at the moment, and Gary Willets has had quite an association with her. As we welcome in viewers from Perth through TVW over there in the west, a very warm welcome to you as we cover the Australasian Oaks Carnival from Morphettville in South Australia. But Gary Willets, he was asked the obvious question, I suppose, of his race plans for this afternoon's race.
Just stay out of trouble. That's my big plan with her, but no, I haven't got any set plan. In big races, I find you can spend hours going over fields, and when the gates open, everything flies out the window.